Okay. Ooh, okay.
Hello.
Hello. So, how would you describe the Phoebe Paradise aesthetic?
I think the Phoebe Paradise aesthetic has changed fairly significantly since I started the label. I've like gone through a few different looks. I guess I've spent the last few years trying to decide what I want the business to really look like and what I want the clothing to look like and what I want it to reflect. And there's been some sort of core themes running through the brand. So, I illustrate all of the garments. So I sort of do fairly detailed illustrations that are based around imagery that are sort of specific to Brisbane. So the lush sort of natural elements of Brisbane mixed in with the grimy detritus and garbage and trash and that kind of thing. And then also the like flora and fauna. So there's sort of common themes running through. But I think there's been a lot of growth. So when I started the label in 2014, I was like, oh God, how old was I? Like 22, 23, something like that. And 22 or 23. And I'd been doing sort of exclusively work for bands, so I was doing a lot of merch design and that kind of thing for local bands, and the kind of work that I was doing reflected that. So, punk bands can only sort of really afford doing like one or two screens on a screen printed t-shirt, so it had to be like really flat colour or really simple like one colour designs. And then as I sort of grew into doing more garments and that kind of thing, like I didn't have the exclusion of colour. I was able to sort of incorporate as much colour as I wanted and as much sort of outrageous design ideas. And so the kinds of clothing that I was doing sort of helped influence the kind of clothes I was making, if that makes sense, the kind of clothing that I was illustrating for. And I think one of the other sort of influences is where I've been at the time. So a lot of my early stuff I was doing, I was living in the valley at that time, so like just right in the heart of the valley, and so I was drawing a lot of just like trash and like violence and pure valley, just like gutter shit, and which I loved. And then I moved out to the suburbs, and so I was doing a lot of illustrations of like Queenslander houses, like real Brisbane-y suburban sort of nostalgic life. And now that I'm back in the valley, it's kind of changed a little bit again. So it's like as I've sort of moved around, the kinds of drawings that I've done have sort of really been influenced by the place and time that I've been in.
So what has been your favourite creation so far to date?
The one that I've been most proud of is the PIG City dress. So I just finished that garment. I'm going to show you. Yeah, so this is the PIG City dress, and this is the newest print that I've done, and this is the one that I spent the most time on. So this is like hardcore Brisbane illustration.
Yeah, you
so
can see like translate.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
That's
like
great.
the waiting for the bus in summer. It's like a summer diary, kind of being a sweaty teenager waiting for the bus and missing it. Like I don't know, like being young and punk and like sweating in leather. And I think that drawing is probably closest to how I want my future works to be looking as well. So it's rather than shying away from detailed illustration, which I've done in the past, sort of wanting to be more like designy. I want to sort of lean into it a little bit and make it like a lot more sketchbooky, a lot more clearly illustrated, not made in Photoshop or Illustrator or whatever.
So Phoebe Paradise has done a lot of collaborations with other artists. Why is collaborating with other people important to you?
I hate the idea of working in a vacuum, personally. It's very easy when you work by yourself and for yourself to just get stuck in like a funnel, of like your own brain. And I'm so lucky to have these amazing friends who are incredibly talented artists in their own right that I would love to work with just as is, but also, being able to give them the opportunity to do something that I'm able to do, which is put art on clothing. Got a lot of pals that have always wanted to do stuff like that, and so I feel really lucky to be able to give them the opportunity to do that. But then also, just working collaboratively with mates is, I don't know, it just helps your brain.
Would you like to share your coming out story with us?
I have been very lucky. My whole life, my family is like the gayest family on the planet. It's fabulous. So like when I was a kid, like my mum and dad and like my mum's brothers and sisters were all got a pride parade, and like my auntie, who was like queen of the lesbians, like, you know, in like rich lesbians in Barton, and she was like really into like queer events and that kind of thing. And my mum and her are really close, and so when I was a kid, I was in like queer plays, and like they had like this one thing, it was like queer theatre sports, so picture like Whose Line Is It Anyway, but like unpacking trauma. So when I was like 14 and I like started, you know, like, I don't know, exploring my sexuality, I told mum like immediately, and she was like, okay, cool, like that was it. Like there was no big like, yeah, there was no moment, you know what I mean? It was just always just, and it was hugely normalized for me growing up, and so there was never an issue. And I feel so lucky because so many of my friends and ex-partners and that have had the exact opposite side of the coin, and so I feel really privileged in that way.
Would you say, do you have any big queer role models?
Because growing up it was so normal, I didn't sort of seek out like role models in that sort of way, you know, like sort of going like, this is the person I want to emulate, this is the person that sort of inspires me to be who I am, and like help me. My family was so supportive, so I wasn't really seeking out role models in that way. But that said, like, you know, I think the people who have been role models for me in adulthood are people who I've seen, you know, live their fucking lives and not have the kind of support that I've had. My auntie Sim, who just came out as trans, she's absolutely amazing. So she grew up in regional New South Wales, and she had a really fucking hard time and has only just sort of gotten to the point in this sort of new wave of queerness that's coming out and like really prevalent on the internet and everything, going like, holy shit, there's actually like a world that I can sort of come out in and feel safe in doing so, and sort of found like the community and all that kind of stuff, which is absolutely amazing.
So is your queer identity something that comes out in your artwork?
Queerness comes out in the same way, like in my art and my design, in the same way that my love of music does, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not the sum total of my personality, and it's not the sum total of my identity, but because it's who I am, it's always going to be omnipresent in the work that I create, and it may not be obvious, but it is in there in small ways, I think.
Jumping around to some more serious topics.
Of course.
How can someone be an ethical consumer?
I honestly think it's impossible. If I can be cynical, I think it's next to impossible to be an ethical consumer in the perfect way, right? I think that there's ways for people to try and be as ethical as they can be, that the absolute isn't possible. You know, the way that every single thing is manufactured in the way that the world operates now, it's just not possible. But I do think, in a more optimistic way, that, you know, just rejecting major corporations and chains, you know, like there's so many small businesses that have popped up online and physically that you can support. Go and seek something out that may be slightly more expensive, but, you know, it's an investment in that business flourishing. But I think, you know, like it's about being a little more thoughtful in what you buy, you know, but it's a difficult one too, I realise. Like Afterpay has been like a really huge thing for the ethical clothing movement, because so many people aren't able to, you know, afford like dresses over $100 and $150 or whatever. That Afterpay's been really cool in that it's allowing a lot of people who sort of live hand to mouth or week to week, like I do as well, to be able to afford pieces like that and invest in sort of well-made, ethically produced clothing.
Other than doing all the art and fashion stuff you do, you're also really into music. Do you want to tell me about your band pursuits, and do you also DJ?
Oh, I do not DJ. So I've been asked to do a couple of DJ nights where I was like, you realise I can't actually DJ, right? And they're like, no, we really want you to do it, it'll be fun. And then I'm like, come in with 2 USBs and like plug them in and start playing. I'm like fading out real shit. Fuck that one up. That's okay. We're just gonna keep going through. Just turn it up real loud. It sucked so bad, but I loved doing it. It was really fun. Always played in bands since I was like 17 years old. And my current band is Lexicon, so it's me and like some of my best mates, and I've been doing it for 1.5 years, and that's great. Like we've played with some absolutely amazing acts like Animal and the Sniffers and Surfboard and Cosmic Psychos, and like it's punk, but it's I don't know, like listenable stuff.
Yeah, and you're the full front singer, aren't you?
Yeah. So I do vocals, which is why my voice is constantly breaking. I'm still getting used to it, but it's so much fun.
So if you could swap places with any other artist for a day, who would you choose?
Oh, that's a really good one. There's this artist called Penelope Gazin who's absolutely amazing. She's got this brand called Fashion Brand Company, and I absolutely obsessed with her work. I would just love to like enter her brain for a day. I think she's so fantastic. So I'd love to just like live a day in her life for a day and just see how she goes, because she's absolutely fabulous.
So we've got a challenge for you, and we'd like you to throw together some Phoebe Paradise outfits for 3 occasions. So one for a festival vibe, one for going out to the beach, and then one for going out clubbing.
I love a challenge. I can do it. Fabulous. Phoebe. I run Phoebe Paradise. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, or in store at Win Lane in Fortitude Valley.